Hey guys, I'm Amber, the Harvest Moon Witch, and welcome back to my channel. This video is the start of my real channel. So I did videos about, the lunar eclipses and teaching you guys, and you know what? I think I'm going to save that for my tarot readings and help guiding people through my business. This channel, I think, is going to be more of a vlog mixed in with some, of course, pick a card readings or tarot readings based on your zodiac sign. But I really want this to be about my journey, and I want this to be a place of love, hope, and inspiration for all of you witches out there. Witches that are struggling to get by, witches that are struggling to get started, baby witches, as we like to call them in the witchy world. I know that a lot of people on Instagram, there's a big community on Instagram of baby witches and new witches and witches in general. And also there's a thing called Witch Talk that I am not on. I don't do TikTok. I can only handle so many social media platforms. But I really want this to be a place where you guys can come to get a little bit of inspiration and hope and know that your journey is just starting and it's okay. And I'm coming from a place of love and I'm sending you so much love. And thank you so much for watching my videos. It means the world to me. I want to get my word out. I want to get my story out there. And this is the best way to do it. I've been called to this. My guys are like, YouTube. I'm like, no, YouTube is quote unquote the devil. I like to think of it as like that, at least beforehand. I did not like YouTube. I really did not like YouTube. And I just got a message like, no, you need to start a YouTube channel, Amber. You need to start. Oh, and by the way, my real name in the real world is Melissa Richards. So hello, you can call me Amber or Melissa, whatever you feel called to. I like to think of it as Amber is my witchy side when I'm channeling, and Melissa is the one that uploads the videos and typing in and doing all the tags, the technical stuff. So whatever you feel called to, it lets me know how you see me, and I love that. So this video is going to be about, let's get into it, about my journey and how I became a witch / Wiccan. I honestly, I didn't not become a witch until 2018, and that was only 2 years ago. So I haven't been a witch for very long. I I just fell into it. It was a calling. I got my first tarot reading maybe like 9 months prior, maybe a year. I don't really remember. But I found this tarot reader and she just spoke to me. She was channeling me. She read my energy. She gave me all the messages that I needed to hear and stepping stones. And then she's like, oh, you should try amethyst crystal. Oh, you should try rose quartz. I'm like, okay, sure. Had no idea it had anything to do with witchcraft or anything like that. And so she gave me some links and then like, oh, a protection chant. Cool. They didn't really call it a protection spell, or did they? I don't really remember. But I just like kept seeing like, okay, crystals and then spells. And then I saw the word witchcraft and witches. And I'm like diving deeper and deeper down this rabbit hole on the internet. And poof, I became a witch. I did need confirmation from my tarot reader to be like, I really want my own tarot deck. Is it okay if I get my own tarot deck? Are you going to be mad at me? And she's like, please, like, your spirit guides are telling you, yeah, you should get a deck. Yeah, you should do this. Like, you should go after it. And so I bought my first deck. It was a Wild Unknown Tarot. And it was actually a hard deck to start with, which I heard. I just was on Amazon and I looked up what tarot decks are, and I did not like the Rider-Waite deck. To be honest, to this day, I still don't use the Rider-Waite deck. I just don't feel connected to it. Maybe that'll change. Maybe that won't. I don't know. I feel way more connected to my Game of Thrones deck. But anyways, back to Wild Unknown Tarot. So actually, now that I think about it, I did tarot before I got into witchcraft. Or it was actually kind of around the same time. Well, no, I don't know. It's all a blur, but I got here. So prior to, my my coming out, I guess, to myself, um, I love witches. I loved Charmed. I can't even tell you how many times I've watched Charmed. I have the book. I have like the DVD set, and it's like built like a book shadows. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. Like I love witches and I love the magic. And I'd always be intrigued by magic and witches and manifestation and just like anything that has to do with witches, I was all about. But I never knew that witchcraft was accessible. I thought it was like, gone to the dust since, Salem witch trials. And I thought all the witches were gone. And I thought it was like some really bad thing to do. And I was just, or not really, really bad. I just didn't really know about it. And I think that's what a lot of people feel like. They don't really know what witchcraft is. And I hope I can shed the light on it, because there's a shadow and light side to everything we do in life. And it is the same of witchcraft. People are just like, so like, ooh, like movies and everything's like, ooh, witchcraft is bad, blah, 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 blah. But it is not. Hallmark Channel, The Good Witch or Good Witch. I am also a huge fan of that show, and she is not bad. Like if I could just describe myself in 3 witches, it would be Phoebe, obviously. I love Phoebe, like her storyline. Like I relate to each of those witches very much, but Phoebe is my number one. Just her storylines in my life and her life, it just coincides completely. And then Carmen from Always a Witch on Netflix. If you haven't watched that, go watch it right now. All you newbie witches, you're gonna love it. Like if I could envision what magic actually looked like and actually like was real, that is what it would be like. They portray it. They're just, it looks real. Like if magic actually, like you could see it with our vision, that's what magic would look like. And then my third witch is Cassie Nightingale. So Phoebe is like my core who I am. And then Carmen is who I express myself to be. And Cassie Nightingale is who I thrive to be, who I strive to be, who I want to be. Like she is the witch who I want to be every single day. And yeah, I like to go on a tangent, so I guess you better get used to it. So let's go back to my rabbit hole. All right. So I'm like on the internet, I'm like looking, I'm like, ooh, okay, witches and spells and crystals and oils. And I'm just like, yes, let's do this. And I literally just, it was like a switch. And this is actually, so tarot led me to my path, my tarot reader. And then I bought my first deck. And then without even realizing it, so I did not buy any books. I did not learn about anything. I literally like just dived in, and I got myself a mirror journal. A mirror journal is what Scott Cunningham likes to call it. You can call it a journal. It's not a book of shadows. It is a reflection of what my process has been. And guess what? I'm going to share this entire book with all of you. This has all of my secrets. There is tons. It's completely filled. And this is my story. This is my story right here. Like this has personal relationships in it, money manifestation, career changes, spiritual awakenings, which is at the very end, which is going to get a little bit tough to talk about. And I'll probably cry, but that's okay. And I'm ready to share it with all of you. And the first thing I'm going to do is share this passage with you. This is how I became Amber. This is how, well, okay, first, actually, no, let's scratch that. This is not how I became Amber. I actually don't really, no, I remember. This is how I became the Harvest Moon Witch. So September 23rd, 2018, 6:57 p.m., night before the full moon. And what full moon was that? So so I told my tarot reader at the time and was like, yeah, like I just felt called to it, and this, like the full moon was rising and I started my mirror journal and I just felt called to this, and that's when I became a witch. That's when I dedicated myself to the craft and I knew I was a witch. I didn't really tell anybody yet. I slowly like told my family, but we'll get to that. And I was just called, and then my tarot reader was like, you should look back at what sign was the full moon in that during that harvest full moon. And it was Aries. Aries is my sun sign. And I was just blown away by this fact. Like, oh my gosh, I could, like, it was the synchronicities. It's just everywhere. And that's how I became the Harvest Moon Witch. I've always loved fall. I've always loved the changing of seasons from summer to autumn. That was my favorite time of the year, where you can just feel the Christmas of the air and the smells just different. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And I was just like, ever since I was a kid, I've always loved fall, and I just wondered why. And I think it just led me to this point, and this is just my path, and it all just aligned, and it was a beautiful, magnificent experience. And I listened to my intuition. I was called to it, and I've always been listening to my intuition, always. And we'll get to that more, because I have so much to talk about intuition. Like, if you don't trust your intuition, or you want to trust it, keep watching my videos. You will learn how to trust your intuition. I promise you, okay? So I'm going to read this. I'm just going to read it. So, night before the full moon, I have received my first calling, my very first message from the spirits. I kept receiving the Tower card. It would not come up in my readings, but randomly showing up at the bottom of my deck 4 to 5 times. And finally, when I was shuffling it, came up again. So I asked why. My question was, what is the Tower trying to tell me? I laid out a 5-card spread. I got a message, but it wasn't very clear. My intuition tells me it's about the love of my life, who I haven't found yet. But there is more to it, I know. While I was shuffling, the Hierophant popped out randomly. I referenced it and brushed it aside. Then it happened in capitalization. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to show you guys on the video. I'm just going to read it. I got to keep some things private. Then it happened. After I was putting my cards away, 3 cards were face up while the rest of the deck was face down. So I was shuffling it, and just randomly 3 cards were upright while all of them were face down. I'm like, what is this? And I don't remember them popping out. I don't know how they got there. They just were. And I'm like, okay, here we go. I have never pulled these cards for myself and never have showed up until today. But there they were, and I put the pieces together. It was a 4-card spread, which is, I love 4-card spreads where you get the 1 at the top and 3 at the bottom. I'll get into that later. About tarot spreads and everything, but 4-card spreads are my favorite. It's also, if you have the Wild Unknown deck, it is in there, the 4-card spread. It's amazing. I love it. And there they were. It was a 4-card spread. The Hierophant in position 1, then the World, 10 of Cups, and the Daughter of Swords. I knew what the message meant. Now, before I read what the cards say, I am literally just channeling my intuition. I'm not thinking about what the book says. I'm not thinking about what the guidebook says. I'm not thinking about what other people are saying. I am like brand new, fresh. And I feel like this is what kind of is a problem with baby witches, because there is so much information out there, and it's a lot. It can be a lot. And I was a newbie. I was a novice. I didn't know what I was doing. Actually, I did, because I was following my intuition. I was like a blank slate. I had no one to influence me. I had no books to influence me. I was raw, and I want to go back to those days, because you know, there's so much learning, there's so much information and everything like that, but the number one thing that we need to do is follow our intuition. So these messages may not be what I'm just going to read it. It just may not be what the guidebook says, but literally I was just channeling my intuition during these messages. So here we go. The Hierophant, my new path towards witchcraft. Position 1 is the situation. So my new path towards witchcraft. The world. I will become a witch to the highest degree. This is how I become who I was always meant to be. This will be something I experience alone. At least my main practice will be given. At least my main practice will be given my independent nature. 10 of Cups. My power is strong, stronger than I can ever imagine right now. People will see I've always wanted this kind of influence. I can change. I have the power of change. I just have to believe, and I already do. Daughter of Swords. Don't let your power of intuition overcome your overall goal. See, now looking back at the Daughter of Swords, I'm just like, is that really what the Daughter of Swords means? I don't know. Like, obviously, I mean, it just triggered something, and that's what they do. But sometimes we're always just like looking in our heads like, okay, am I getting it right? Is that what it is? No, the Hierophant is supposed to be about a teacher, but maybe you're the teacher. Or are you the teacher? But here it says, this is about my situation. So, Daughter of Swords, don't let your power of intuition overcome your overall goal. Just because you see something in someone doesn't mean it's the right thing to tell them. Interesting. Make sure you use your power wisely. I've always wondered why I write in the third and first person in the same passage. Now I know. I'm speaking for my guides, the spirits who have always been watching me, always looking out for me. Now I'm ready to listen. So, my first piece of advice for all of you new witches, or all of you experienced ones, go back and start from the beginning and just let all of this out. Let it all, like, just throw away, like, I wish I could, like, just take out my brain sometimes and just be like, okay, I'm listening to my heart now. I'm listening to my intuition. What does my intuition tell me? We need to I remember that moment and I just felt so power charged, and it was amazing and beautiful, and I was so confident, and I still am. But this past year has been one roller coaster for me, for sure. And I just feel like in the beginning of my craft, it was just where I trusted my intuition and I didn't second guess myself, and I just went with the flow, and I just goed with the flow, and I picked oils just by randomly. I didn't think about it. And yeah, so that's my first piece of advice for all of you. Just trust your intuition and go with what your gut says. It's really hard to shut out everything else, but you have the answers inside of you to help guide you. Your spirit guides, like when we're cleansed and we're not empty, but when we are clear-minded, that is when they can enter, and that is when we can manifest these gifts, our gifts, and manifest a beautiful, abundant life. All right, so I hope you guys are excited. I have over 100 passages in here, so that means around 100 videos. Yeah, so get ready for this journey, and I'm so excited to go with you. Thanks for joining with me, and I can't wait. If you guys have any questions at all, anything, leave them in the comments. Please like, subscribe to my video or my channel, and let me know. Give me back some words of encouragement. Let me know if you guys like this, if I should keep doing this, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway, whether or not you like it or not. But I am going to fit in. But if you guys want to know something, let me know, and I'd be happy to make a video about that. But I'm going to just, for me, unless somebody asks me, I'm not going to make an informative video. Okay? Ask me. Tell me what you want to know, and I will produce. Okay? All right. Well, blessed be. Take care, and I'll see you soon.